Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. I am Dr. Grace Williams, the city's Director of Planning and Economic Development, and I will be your MC this morning for our event. And for our parents, residents, and businesses that are live streaming On our Facebook page, facebook.com/Paris Today, good morning, buenos dias, magandang umaga, ni hao ma. We are coming to you live from the Bob Glass Gym in the beautiful City Hall campus right here in the heart of Paris. Welcome to the City of Paris. Welcome to the City of Paris first annual State of the City. If you can't tell, I am very excited. To our guests, those that traveled near and far, our visiting dignitaries, welcome to our humble abode. We are honored to have each and every one of you here with us. We thank you for your presence and your support. Please also help me thank our California Military Institute Band for that wonderful opening number, Mr. Tatum and band members. Thank you. We have an exciting and very full program to share with you this morning, and I will do my very best to shepherd us through it with as much fun as possible. We know your time is valuable, and we thank you for spending a part of your day with us. With that, I would like to start things off by inviting Pastor Wade Ford, Senior Pastor of Lake Parish Church and Paris 5th Street Church, to start us off with an invocation.
Let's pray. God, on this good morning, we thank you, God, for the providence of safe arrivals. We thank you, God, this morning as the city sets out on this venture, that, Father, we look forward in gleeful anticipation to the sharing of what we will believe is our North Star, the sharing of a bright future, of hope and excitement, of joy and great anticipation. As many businesses and retailers are scrambling to be a part and engage in this great community, we're asking, God, that the crown of wisdom, that mantle be laid on the mayor of this city, that as he shares, Father, that it would be one that does not deny the least of them, the lost, the lonely. God, it is one that it would be so inclusive that it would raise every demographic to a higher place. It would be fully inclusive of all civic engagement, all academia, all of the ecumenical community, so that we as a community engaged together might be more empowered to become the city on a hill. That each and all of us, from our mayor to our city council, to our city managers, city administrators, departmental leaders, and city members, might all better engage this city to become that hope for the future as generations to come, those that follow this leadership, would be excited about their city. Let this inaugural state of the city be forever chronicled in the minds and the hearts of all those in the future. For let it be said on this day, the vision was cast, it was made plain, and we all surrounded it, gave our all to it, engaged it, and were blessed by it. This we pray in the name of our sovereign Lord and Savior. Let all of us together say, amen.
Today, our presentation of colors will be delivered by the Total Force Blue Eagles Honor Guard. To lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance will be our Assistant City Manager, Clara Miramontes, then followed by the national anthem played by the California Military Institute. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for our national anthem.
Please join me in saluting our nation's flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's event would not be possible without the support of some very important people that must be acknowledged this morning. I would like to ask that you hold your applause until I've named all of our dignitaries, leaders, and special guests. First and foremost, serving on our City Council, Mayor of Perris, Mayor Michael Vargas, Mayor Pro Tem Malcolm Corona, Councilmember Rita Rogers, Councilmember Tanya Burke, Councilmember David Rabb, our Assemblyman Jose Medina, Riverside County Supervisor Marion Ashley, representing Congressman Takano's office, Rafael Elizalde, representing Senator Roth's office, Karina Tamayo and Alti Holcomb, the March Air Reserve Base Commander Colonel Matt Berger, Riverside County Sheriff Chief Greg Fellows, California Fire Battalion Chief Kirk Barnett, Dolores Smith, Dean of Student Services for Mount San Jacinto College, Perris Union School District Superintendent Grant Bennett, Jamil Dada, Riverside Workforce Development Board Chair, Larry Rubio, Director of Riverside Transit Agency, Heidi Marshall, Managing Director of County EDA, Juan Perez, Riverside County's Director for Transportation and Land Management Agency. Jeff Hewitt, Mayor of Calimesa. Former Assembly Member Ross Bogue. Our Paris Union School District Superintendent Grant Bennett. Our Paris Elementary School District Superintendent Jean Marie Frey. If there are visiting dignitaries that I may have missed, I'd like to ask all of our dignitaries to please stand up so that we may acknowledge all of you today. The expansive marketing of this event would not have been possible without the help of our three chambers, the Paris Valley Chamber of Commerce, the Black Chamber of Commerce, and the Hispanic Association of Small Businesses. We want to thank our chambers for their commitment to the city, and to the following sponsors, thank you for your support. And I'm just going to go through the names. We had almost 30 sponsors for this event. For the Diamond sponsor, we have CR&R. Our Platinum sponsors, IE Gardens, Joshua D. Nagar Law, Marin Realty, OERM, Skydive Paris, SoCal Fair, Westside Collective. Our Gold sponsors, 2020 Network, Alabasi Construction and Engineering, Alshire and Winder LLC, EMWD, IDI Logistics, Pacific Code Compliance, Southern California Edison, Stronghold Engineering, Tri-Lake Consultants, USC Soap Prize Center for Economic Development, and Wayfair. For our silver sponsors, Ace Tax Realty, Johnson Aviation Inc., Life Lifters International, March Joint Powers Authority, Metrolink, MHM and Associates, Paris Union High School District, Stretch Forming Corporation, and Western Riverside Council of Governments. Thank you all for your support of our first State of the City. Lastly, but certainly not least, I would like to acknowledge our city management staff, our city manager, Mr. Richard Belmudez, Assistant City Manager, Clara Miramontes, Assistant City Manager, Darren Madkin, Executive Assistant, Marilyn Fernholtz, Chief Information Officer, Art Cervantes, Director of Administrative Services, Isabel Carlos, Director of Community Services, Sabrina Chavez, Director of Public Works, Darrell Hartwell, and Director of Finance, Jennifer Irwin. And I would also like to acknowledge our city clerk. Nancy, I apologize for missing you in the dignitary. Thank you, Nancy. To the incomparable team that helped organize this event, Michelle Ogawa, Sylvia Arvizu, Rebecca Rivera, Sarah Cortez de Pavon, Spencer Campbell, Joshua Estrada, Darrell Hartwell and team, thank you all, Community Services and Public Works team, for your hard work. And now on to our main event. Here to introduce our State of the City video, I'm honored to call upon our Mayor, Michael Vargas.
Konnichiwa. I don't think you said that one. Good morning, everybody. This is truly, truly an exciting day. And Nancy, we never do forget about you. If you never have to do this and to make announcements, you're always going to leave somebody out. So, but we got you in there. So, this is Paris's first ever State of the Address. And that's what makes this even more exciting. And we truly appreciate everybody that's here in this room today to celebrate this with us. And that being said, driving over here this morning, I had to do a change of plans, and I thought about a lot of things that was in the script, and I said, it's not covering everything. So please indulge me by deviating from the program as I talk about a few words, just a few words that I really, truly hit me here as a mayor, so. I think I got Grace Williams there really good on that one. Works every time. Okay, some of you seen that trick already, some of you haven't. I'm good? The purpose of that is it's an exercise, and that is to relieve the tension in the room, to tell everybody we're here to have a good time. This is an exciting day for us, so we want to celebrate it with everybody, but we want to do it cheerfully. So feel free to Snapchat me and all that good stuff, and our city council in here, and our city clerk as well. But anyway, let's get on to the script here. So when we talk about Paris being the center of it all, we are talking about the point of convergence for the county of Riverside. The point of convergence for the economic development, innovative community-based programs, strategic partnerships, and healthy living and education, forward-thinking solutions, in building up the city where people want to live, work, and play, and are proud to call it their home. For years, everything around the city of Paris has been growing very fast, and it seems that for years, Paris would slow to catch up with our neighboring cities. But we are not sitting idly while other cities grew. I want you to know that the Paris City Council has been working very hard in the background and on the front lines, strategically pushing development forward while building up partnerships and initiatives that have built up our community over the years and given us healthy community brand on the national level. As mayor, I'm proud to be part of a city council that works together for the benefit of all our communities in Paris. We as a team value thoughtful dialogue, community engagement, and even the difference in opinions, because it is the uniqueness of what each member brings to the table that makes this city a great place to live. It is an honor to be serving with all of our council members. Our success over these past few years have largely been due to the energy and passion that we share on and off the dais. The progress of the city is also due in part to the strong relationship that council has with the city manager and staff. We are a city on the move, and there are no signs of slowing us down. I am pleased to be standing before you today and introducing our State of the City video. Please sit back, relax, continue eating if you have not finished, and let our city council show you why Paris is the city to watch and why we are that city that is the center of it all. Thank you. The city of Paris was incorporated on May 26, 1911. More than 100 years later, the city maintains its small town feel while growing strategically into a place where families and working professionals want to live, work, and play. To that end, public safety continues to be a high priority for the city. In 2017, the Paris Police Department provided 24/7 coverage for city residents with 160 patrol hours per day. Even as our population increased, violent crimes and property crimes dropped in 2017. With help from code enforcement and community volunteers, the city of Paris looks to decrease those numbers even further by keeping our parks safe through patrols, education, and targeted enforcement. Educating the community on crime prevention techniques such as mail and ID theft prevention, target hardening, and driver and pedestrian safety. Continued implementation of street racing enforcement and education programs. I continue to work with all our community stakeholders in sharing our message. We can all be part of Team Paris.
The City of Paris is committed to providing superior park and recreation programs that enhance the quality of life for our residents. Since 2005, the City of Paris has tripled the total park acreage from 75 acres to over 274. We also offer a full range of recreational programs for youths, adults, and seniors at our facilities that serve thousands each year. Earlier this year, the city received a $100,000 grant to continue our efforts to build 30 community gardens throughout the city. With help from our local partners, we now offer summer swim programs at Paris High School, hiking and cycling events as part of the city's award-winning Live Well Paris initiative, City of Paris Day at the Southern California Fair featuring free entrance for Paris residents on October 6th. Projects currently under construction this year include the Matla Fitness Court at Paragon Park, the Paris Valley Storm Drain Trail, the Statler Youth Center, and the Linear Park lighting installation. Projects in the early planning stage include a senior center pool room expansion, the San Jacinto River Trail, and new restrooms planned for Paragon, Copper Creek, Monument Ranch, and Liberty Parks. From the future leaders of our community on the Youth Advisory Committee to our experienced leaders on the Senior Center Activity Club Committee, we try to get everyone involved in making Paris thrive.
Paris is in the center of it all, and part of that model includes having the proper infrastructure in place to ensure that people can safely and efficiently move to and through the city. New and improved streets, flood control facilities, and support our growing population and the 3 million visitors that our local attractions bring into Paris. A few recent projects include the replacement of the Triple Crown Wall, pavement rehabilitation of Redlands Avenue from San Jacinto Avenue to Ryder Street, the extension of Harley Knox Boulevard, the completion of the I-215 widening project between McCall Road and Nuevo Road, the widening of Paris Boulevard from the I-215 bridge to 4th Street, the widening of Ethan Eck Road between Getz and Case Roads, and the Paris Boulevard widening project. Future capital improvement projects include the construction of streetscape improvements on D Street between 8th and 10th Street, the construction of the Placencia interchange at I-215 freeway, and the Ramona Expressway pavement rehabilitation project. Maintaining and building new infrastructure is vital to our city's health, and we will continue to focus on all of the city's capital improvement needs.
When it comes to economic and workforce development, the City of Paris is doing big things. There are more than 10,000 homes approved and in various stages of development throughout the city, as well as an increase in the working population within the city. This year we are welcoming Burlington, Ross, Ulta, Five Below, and Hibbett Sports to the Paris Plaza, and we are adding new eateries such as Mountain Mike's for our growing population. The Paris Commons Shopping Center also broke ground with a new gas station, fast food restaurant, and a building for new commercial uses slated for completion in 2019. And did you know that Paris draws more than 3 million visitors each year that want to experience excitement at our Skydive Paris Airport, Paris Fairgrounds, Lake Paris, Orange Empire Railway Museum, the Paris Auto Speedway, Big League Dreams, and Action Sports, just to name a few. To grow our local economy, we recognize that having a strong workforce is key to attracting new businesses to the city and growing existing ones. Earlier this year, the City of Paris received a $500,000 award from the Board of State and Community Corrections for our first violence intervention program, where we will serve over 1,000 at-risk students and give them a chance to learn skills that will lead to employment after high school. We're planning a skills training and job placement center in the heart of downtown where we will offer certification of skills, apprenticeships, degree programs, and job placement for our residents. Our mission? Be the hub for innovative business and workforce development programs and a center for excitement that draws people from everywhere that want to experience Paris, the center of it all.
The city's sales tax revenues have nearly doubled since last fiscal year. Sales tax revenues for the previous fiscal year were about $10 million and have increased to roughly $19 million. Paris's sales tax growth has exceeded the performance of all other Riverside County cities and even outpaced the performance of Riverside County, Southern California, and the state. Assessed values continue to rise in the city. Per the county assessor, Paris's property values have risen 11% in the past year. This was higher than any other city in Riverside County. This translates to a $700,000 increase and the property tax revenues being collected by the city. The city has maintained general fund reserves of at least 35% of projected revenue for over 10 years, and general fund reserves have remained steady between $16 and $19 million. And finally, the city has set up trust accounts to begin pre-funding OPEB and pension liabilities. In the next fiscal year, the city will create a policy that will reduce these liabilities. Pre-funding these liabilities can assist the city in avoiding increased costs for future taxpayers. The City of Paris.
The center of it all.
Who's ready to move to Paris? Okay, yes. As part of showing you all our appreciation for personally attending our event today, we have 2 prizes that we are giving away this morning. The first is made possible by our transportation partner, Metrolink. How do you get to the center of it all? Stress-free, happy, and free from all those greenhouse gases on the freeway? Metrolink. Only one person at each table can win a free round-trip ticket valued at $55. City of Paris was incorporated on May 26, 1911. If your birthday is in May, 1911? No, the month of May. The month of May. Focus, Mayor. If your birthday month is May, then you are the winner at your table. If you do not have anyone born in May at your table, whoever was born on the month closest to May may be the winner. And so whoever at the table, check their IDs. Please see Michelle Ogawa. Okay, please see Michelle Ogawa after the event. Provide her with your email address, and we will check we'll come to each table and we'll check to see who the person is. And we will send you a code that you can use at any time. Thank you, Metrolink. So this State of the City is not just to highlight the many successes that our City Council and staff have accomplished to date. This is also an opportunity to highlight new partnerships that will elevate the city's vision of being at the center of it all. Our keynote speaker today will help highlight one of those critical partnerships for our city. Coming to us by way of March Air Reserve Base is Colonel Matthew Berger, or as fellow airmen affectionately call him, Colonel Cheeseburger. Colonel Matthew Berger is commander of 452nd Air Mobility Wing, Air Force Reserve Command, March Air Reserve Base. As commander of the Air Force Reserve's largest wing, with more than 4,000 personnel, 9 C-17s, and 14 KC-135s, he directs the support of worldwide airlift and air refueling operations. Colonel Berger is also responsible for the daily operations of the base, which supports active duty, National Guard, and reserve tenants from the Air Force, Navy, and Marines, as well as the Department of Homeland Security personnel with the Air and Marine Operations Center. I'd like to invite Colonel Berger up. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
You know, as I watched Grace navigate the introductions and acknowledgments, it made me think I've been to combat, deployed for combat 7 times. And that includes Iraq and Afghanistan, and I felt like that was a lot more treacherous than anything I've ever done. So thanks for doing that. I think the mayor got that right. First of all, thanks to the council and particularly the mayor for letting me be a part of this celebration today. You know, you're probably familiar that the base celebrated 100 years, which seems like a lot, but then as I prepared for today's event, I realized that we're the younger sibling of our good friends and community. We're like a tight-knit family, I think, between March and Paris. And while officially incorporated in 1911, the relationship that we have certainly spans that 100 years as well. And I think as I thought about, well, what defines that relationship? First and foremost, we share the same citizens. And kind of unlike an active duty base, our citizens airmen are embedded in the communities surrounding the base, to include Paris. And what I love most about the Air Force Reserve Command is that when our citizens choose to serve, most typically they serve for decades at the same base. And so I tried to grab a couple of those stories, and airmen like, and I can't say his first name, Master Sergeant Akumo, and we actually only call him Akumo because his first name's too difficult. But he came here in 2007 and chose Paris as his home. And Sergeant Akumo, while he was born in Minnesota, he was raised in Nigeria of immigrant parents who chose to return to Nigeria. He has been married 9 years to his wife, Gloria, and they've lived in Paris with their 3 boys, and they have their first girl is on the way as we speak. And Akumo is kind of a great example of one of our airmen. He's a Security Plus trained to protect our network on the base and maintain the network and the infrastructure to support the critical communications that we do across that network. He's been with us, like I said, since 2007, but he has aspirations to start his own business, and he envisions starting that business in Paris. And we share citizens like Senior Master Sergeant Vic Velasquez. Vic is an instructor loadmaster on our C-17, and he's one of the longest serving aircrew members we have at March. He began serving at March in 1986. He's been in the Air Force for 36 years. It just so happens that we're celebrating 70 years of the Air Force. Vic's been in for longer than half of the existence of the Air Force. Vic is this amazing guy who's flown C-130s, C-141s, and now C-17s. And what's great about Vic and communities like Paris is Vic, while he is certainly a workhorse on our aircraft, that's not what makes Vic great. What makes Vic is known as the go-to guy. If you need something done, you go to Vic. And Vic lives here in Paris, and I'm sure he's in the community. He's a go-to guy too. Vic will be retiring in 2019 after 37 years of career in the Air Force, and you can bet our communities will still share Vic and his talents. But it's just not citizens that we share, it's infrastructure. We have a common border. And we have shared values and requirements where that relationship can benefit both of our communities. Some examples of that shared infrastructure is the Heacock Channel that we celebrated the breaking of the ground earlier this year. And it has this dual, we both contributed to that channel, but it has the benefit both for the base to preserve our mission and make it more effective, but it also protects citizens and businesses from flooding. And as we look at that's just one example, I think that was about a $7 million project. The base economic benefit overall is nearly $600 million annually and still growing. And while we can't say exactly what piece of that comes to Paris, the latest report indicates the upper end of that contribution to Paris is about $36 million. And that includes things like base payroll, goods and services purchased by the base, as well as off-base payroll. One of the things I'm proud about this year that we worked with Paris and the other surrounding communities is we worked to build a sustainable development plan that balances the economic expansion of communities like Paris while preserving the mission at the base. It can't be one or the other, it has to be both. In February, we released, you'll love this name, Air Installation and Compatible Use Zone Study. So we don't like to use long names, we call it the ACUS. And the ACUS is really an Air Force study that informs the local municipalities on how to use land space compatibly for development around and while preserving public safety and then public nuisance like noise abatement. And that Air Force study is interesting to, I think, to communities, and they're very responsive. But really what that ACUS does is lays the groundwork for a joint land use study. And that's where we will partner with the communities and the federal government, funded by the federal government as well, and we'll be able to actually develop a land development, a compatible use development across the boundaries of the base. And this study is really a cooperative planning that will, the goal of the study is to preserve public safety, accommodate new economic growth, sustain economic vitality, and then, like I said before, protecting the mission. It will make it so we both have mutually beneficial relationship. I think there's some other significant things that we've seen happen around the base and in the city of Paris. We saw a few of them on the video. In 2018, the city of Paris was recognized as one of America's healthiest communities by the Conference of Mayors and American Beverage Foundation. And really, we saw evidence of some of those initiatives, but it was a myriad of initiatives that the community has made a commitment to foster an environment that creates opportunity for wellness and healthy lifestyles for the citizens. One of the great achievements is 6.7 million square feet developed for businesses, everything from small businesses to Fortune 500 companies. And all that will be compatible with the base and our mission. And then lastly, mentioned previously, facilities like Skydive Paris, the Railroad Museum, and the water park are just a few of that huge draw of over 3 million visitors annually to the city. And I think as we look forward to next year, as we look at the strategic location of both the base and the city of Paris, we have the benefit of the roads and infrastructure. We have the March Airport that supports commercial as well as military traffic. And we're not that far from rail line that supports really a logistic hub that benefits the community as well as the base. We saw today the California Military Institute, which is sponsored by our 163rd Attack Wing on the base. And it's another example of how we can partner to foster local schools and growth in our youth and inspire the next generation to want to serve. We've worked with the city over the last year on numerous opportunities, is what I would say. They're not issues, they're opportunities. Specifically, one of those was with our Base Airmen and Family Readiness Center. And what that center does is it delivers services to our family really around the time of deployment. And you'll see why that was so important. But we want to wrap a warm blanket around those families as their member is deployed out doing the bidding of our nation. And really the city of Paris is committed to being a part of that with the citizens that reside within the city. So in kind of closing, what I really wanted to talk to you about, finish with, is what you can expect from your Air Force and March Air Force Base and some of your citizens in the next year. First, I'll talk about the 163rd. The 163rd is the Guard, the National Guard Attack Wing. And a little bit different than the Air Force Reserve, the Guard has a dual purpose, both to support the state in their assigned missions as well as a federal mission. And this unique organization is truly amazing. In the last year, they have dedicated, they fly the unmanned aerial vehicles that you may or may not be familiar with. They do primarily reconnaissance. And they can execute that mission anywhere in the world from March Air Reserve Base. So throughout last year, they executed hundreds of flight hours and thousands of flight hours and hundreds of missions from March Air Reserve Base, to include the CENTCOM AOR and the fight in Syria. They can execute that mission, but they also provide initial qualification training for all of the Air Force to gain certification in that event. And we're expanding that role over the next year. But as part of their state mission, they can use that same technology, and they have been mapping fire in our very busy fire season over the last 12 months. They've spent over 600 hours providing critical resources to CAL FIRE to wage war back against those forest fires. Amazing of the fire line and allowing CAL FIRE to efficiently deploy forces against this as the fire front changes. They can aim the picture of the fire down to cell phones and iPads at the front of the fire. It's truly amazing. We can expect them to do that work in the next 12 months. I'm also, I mentioned before Akimu, Sergeant Akimu. Our communication squadron, the Air Force is reinvigorating how they view cyber. And as you've heard probably, cyber is this kind of domain that we now fight almost continuously in. And it's a critical enabler to any combat operations. Well, what March was selected to be part of this transformation, and our communication squadron is known as a pathfinder in developing a whole new view of how we manage network warfare. And what that means is we've always viewed our communication squadrons as enabling email, getting us internet access. When the internet goes down, we yell at the comm squadron. But in this case, what they do is much bigger than that. All of our weapon systems run on software. All of our test equipment is software driven. That's part of that cyber domain. And our communication squadrons are leading the Air Force effort to preserve and protect that domain. Sergeant Akumu is a big part of that effort. And finally, I want to talk about we'll deploy almost 1/3 of our force across the globe. They'll be doing things like supporting the logistical support throughout the Mideast and Europe. They'll be flying missions around the Middle East. We'll be supporting the logistical ongoing effort to reinvigorate with our allies in the Pacific. We'll be defending the bases around the globe. Literally, in the next 12 months, the sun won't set on an airman from Mars. And so I think you should be proud to be a part of a community that brings airmen to want to serve voluntarily at that level of commitment. And we have businesses that support those airmen to leave the business for up to 6-7 months at a time and execute your nation's bidding. You can expect maximum return on your investment as a taxpayer, and you can bet the airmen at March Air Reserve Base are ready when called. So thank you for allowing me to share the story of our airmen today.
Thank you, Colonel Berger. Just earlier this week, I had the very cool opportunity to travel with civic leaders on a March trip to Texas and then Georgia and back to California, looking at other bases, partnerships they're working on with communities. And the coolest thing about being in the city of Paris is the direct access that we have to the advancements that the Defense Department is working on within military installations. So we're thankful for the partnership with March Air Reserve Base. We look forward to supporting all your needs, workforce and business development. And thank you for investing in Paris. So it's our very first State of the City, so I'm allowed a few mistakes every now and then, I hope. But I do want to acknowledge two individuals, one that just recently arrived, Mr. Wilfred Marshall with the Economic Development Administration, Federal Economic Development Administration, joined us today. And then also we have Miss Christina Paris with us today, who is the great-great-granddaughter of Fred T. Paris, our city's namesake. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. Very excited to have you both join us. Time for our second drawing. We have skydive passes. Love our military. A little known fact about Paris and the military, their personnel love to dive out of Paris Airport. To make sure that we continue to support this important military asset, our Paris Skydive Airport, our next giveaway is a bronze package valued at $69 a piece. Again, only one person at each table can win if you have a pink sticky note in your program. So you look through your program and you have a pink sticky note. You're the lucky recipient of the Skydive Bronze package. And if you have one, please see Michelle Ogawa again after the program. Provide her with your name so we can give you those tickets. Congratulations to the winners. Good job. All right. Okay. So, okay, that was a good one. Okay, that was a good one. Good. Okay, in 2017, the City of Paris signed a MARS MOU. This is going to take us, we have two presentations, and this is our first one with the Mars Joint Powers Authority. MARS stands for Manufacturing Aerospace Research and Science, an initiative that focuses on supporting the next generation of skilled workers for aerospace and defense manufacturers. This initiative gave birth to a partnership between our own Val Verde Continuation High School and a local aerospace defense manufacturer called AMRO. AMRO is a subcontractor to Lockheed Martin, NASA, and Boeing, just to name a few of their clients. Last year, AMRO said they needed welders. The City of Paris, in partnership with the Mars JPA, partnered with Port Val Verde in training welders in their CTE programs. This year, the high school graduated 50 welders in the CTE program. This year, 5 of those students are lined up for employment opportunities. In fact, one of them just started working with AMRO this week. He just started his job this week. And the other students will be introduced to opportunities with our Carpenters Union. This is the facilitator of the MARS program for businesses and schools, and we're expanding it to be a career promise program that will serve our veterans, displaced workers, minorities, and women. These efforts are constantly pushed by our city council to help elevate Paris to the next level on workforce and business development. And with that, I am going to invite up our welders. We're going to do a presentation of welding hoods from our city council to these young welders. So I'd like to bring up the young welders, AMRO, Val Verde, and our city council members. If you could join me on the stage, please. And while this is a symbol of Paris's commitment to building our workforce, I would like to open up the floor to our city council members to say a few words. Also take pictures as well.
Okay, she got back at me because she didn't tell me about this part of the program. Thank you, Grace. So this is a very exciting program. It's dear-hearted to me because as a school board member for 6 years with Val Verde Unified School District, I pushed and tried between the RCOE and our district and getting a skills center, what I'm accustomed to in Los Angeles, where I was born and raised, where they have regional occupational centers, if any of you are aware of what I'm talking about. We don't have any such thing out here in the Inland Empire. And wouldn't you know it, manager takes Grace away from the March JPA, comes our new economic development director, and within 3 weeks, she's already working on a skills center here in Paris. 6 years, 3 weeks. Amazing. So, and this is a product of a portion of that. These, they're all men, all boys, all men. I don't want to be rude. So what these men have accomplished in this field, welding is a very high-paying field. So I give kudos to these boys for going through the project. Thank Grace and her staff, Val Verde Unified School District as well, our council, everybody for having this vision, and may go forward, and this is why Paris is the center of it all.
Sorry about that. I'm not used to these hoods here. I don't wear them too often. But I think we need to take a moment, everyone in this room, I think we all need to stand in honor of these young men up here and give them a round of applause. Far too often, we take opportunities like this for granted. These young men chose life. These young men chose to better their lives and better the lives of others around them. We didn't lose them to gang violence. We didn't lose them to drugs. We didn't lose them to the pipeline to prison, and that's why we need to celebrate them. We need to celebrate them because so many of our young folks throughout this region, throughout this state, throughout the country, they're making other decisions. They're making decisions to not go through this pathway. So each and every time we see young folks like this who defy the odds because there are odds that they have to defy, we need to celebrate them like we've never celebrated before. So I salute you, young men. I congratulate you, and I wish you well in your endeavors and moving on to not just furthering your careers, but being an example to those who see.
An exciting program. You will be the first class for future stepping out to pursue a career to make a
various agencies and resources to bring this valued resource to the city of Paris. We look forward to having more opportunities for our young people and older adults alike, and just increasing the opportunities here in the city of Paris. And as the mayor mentioned, we are the center of it all. Thank you.
Well, I guess I'll just say something real quick. Just big congratulations to the young men who are now finding future possibilities for employment. Also, big congratulations to all those that were involved. I did speak to this gentleman real quick. Apparently, there's 2 girls in the program as well too. So it's a growing program. I think the city of Paris is very interested in collaborating with all the school districts. I know with the school districts, say a great job to all those that were involved. Thank you.
And then what? One big photo? You want us off to the side or right here?
Just one more time, I want the next announcement. Mr. Rafael Elizalde from Congressman Takano's office.
morning, everyone. Sorry. I don't want to get involved in that. Again, my name is Rafael Lizalde. I'm the District Director and Senior Advisor to Congressman Mark Takano, representing the great city of Perris. We have a very exciting announcement, and I think the mayor touched a little bit about this. I think it takes great elected officials to have vision, and I think it takes even better staff sometimes to make it happen. So I want to congratulate Grace Williams, the entire city council, the mayor, earlier this year in an effort to expand its workforce development efforts, the city of Perris applied for a federal economic development agency grant to help fund a downtown skills training and job placement center. This center would generate apprenticeships, internships, and job placements that will help support the growing workforce needs of our region. I'm proud to announce that as of this morning, there was a notice by the federal EDA awarding the city of Perris $5.5 million towards that center, creating 325 jobs. So congratulations, Mayor. Congratulations, Grace. Great job.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Drop the mic, drop the mic. Don't drop the mic. I need it, I need it. This next item, oh my gosh, how do you follow? I don't know how to follow. I don't know how to. But our next item is a special presentation which will be given by our city manager, Richard Belmudez.
Good morning, everyone. Well, the only way to follow that is by acknowledging a really special person. And this morning, I get the opportunity to do that. This morning, the City Council and I would like to recognize our Riverside County Supervisor, Marion Ashley. Supervisor Ashley and I share two really great passions: the City of Perris and the Los Angeles Dodgers. And today's a great day for both of those. We're celebrating our first ever City of Perris, and today the Dodgers are going to start the historic run to a World Series. Anybody that knows the supervisor knows how passionate and how much energy he brings to both those items, and he's been a great champion of the City of Perris. He is a supervisor, and we, though, refer to him as Uncle Marion. He's a big part of our Perris family. When Uncle Marion tells Larry Rubio and Richard Belmudez to get a bus in front of the state of the city, guess what's out front? There's a bus. So thank you, Supervisor. Marion, as some of you know, has been a resident of the city up until a few years ago. He grew up here. As a matter of fact, he went to Perris, which at one time was right here in this very building. And the supervisor will tell you how he hit the buzzer beater shot right like 10 feet away from us to win the Perris High Championship. What he won't tell you about is the technical fouls he received as a coach later when he came back to coach some of the Perris High teams. But the supervisor not only went to high school here in Perris, he later went on to be a business person. As I said, he coached not only basketball and baseball, but he's always been a civic leader. We all known him since as a board member for Water Board, and then later as our county supervisor representing Perris. And I don't think any other supervisor on the board was able to get more for one community than Marion. So thank you, Supervisor. Most importantly, though, he really embodies the character of the small-time city on the go. He's constantly been working to help us get the needed infrastructure and funds we need. And so we are really grateful for you, Supervisor. You're moving out of private, or moving from public life to private life. Those are going to be some really big shoes to fill, and I know a couple of your people seeking that seat are out there. We're forever grateful for you, and on behalf of the Paris Mayor and Council, we'd like you to come up here and present you with the plaque. Mr. Supervisor.
Here somewhere.
Yeah, I've seen the plaque. It's plaque's here somewhere.
Should I move this?
Do you have it?
Like the mayor, I have this big list. Good morning, everybody, and it's really great to see and this has got to be the first State of the City for the City of Paris. I've never ever heard of one. I've been around here most of my life. I've lived over half my life. I've been a resident of the City of Paris, and I'm still a proud taxpayer. And you'll hear from me from time to time in that regard. And I have many pleasant memories. This is the site of the old high school, the original high school. And this is the gym. So my mother went to school here, and my aunts and uncles. And I played my very first basketball game as a sixth grader right here in this gym, ever, period. We were out playing on the dirt. This is the first time we ever played on anything but dirt until we came here and played in a tournament here. Played high school ball here. The first speech I had to give was here. You know, it was just, I have so many pleasant memories of this place. And none of them more pleasant than today. And so I want to thank you all very much for all your support over the years. I mean, from every direction. And I'm just real, proud that I was happy I was able to serve. I've been looking at what's coming up. We have two outstanding candidates to replace me that are running right now, and you're going to be in good hands. So, and I'm going to sit back and do what I can to help whoever wins and do a good job. So thank you again for all you've done to help me. Thank you for this great honor. And I just want, and one last thing, I want you to ask me, please join me outside immediately after today's event. When you see that trolley outside, the Riverside Transit Authority, Larry Rubio, Executive Director, is over here, and I are going to present that trolley to the Paris Historical Society. Katie Keys is the current president. So if you have time, hang around. It'll happen immediately following this event. Again, thank you. Thank you very much. Go Dodgers. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Supervisor, we're bringing that plaque right over, so we'll get it to you. It's here. I saw it. In the meantime, though, Dr. Williams has asked me to close out the program. And so I want to start by thanking some of the many people that helped put this thing together. Dr. Grace Williams and her staff, Michelle, Sylvia, who's probably running across the parking lot with the plaque, and Rebecca and Sarah. You did a tremendous job today. I know you were up till really late last night doing it, but thank you. I also want to acknowledge our great information technology crew and the incredible video they produced. We've only been doing video productions for about a year or so, and our main person, Everett, is actually leaving tonight for his honeymoon. But he came in today because he's been working on that video so long and he wanted to get it out. So wherever you are, Everett, thank you.
There he is.
Take a bow. And the people we kind of forget often are our public works and community services people that set everything up and take everything down. So I wanted to acknowledge them today too. Thank you, staff. And let me state that as I was watching the video, it was really fun to watch the pictures of all the new projects and programs. But what I really reflected back on is all the staff and all the planning and all the effort we had to do to get to those points. And it's not just the people you see in the outside, the project managers, but we have people in finance, we have people in admin, we have a whole host of city staff that allow me to be who I am and do what I do to accommodate the policy the council sets. And really, they're the ones that do it. I have the best staff in the county, and I'm proud that they're all here today and celebrating this day because all those efforts is the fruits of your labor. So thank you, staff. With that in mind, in addition to the supervisor leaving, there's a key member of our staff that's going to be leaving. And she's one of those persons that never likes the limelight and is probably really, really upset right now because she realizes what's happening. But for 30 years, Marilyn Fernholz has been the executive assistant to me and about a dozen other city managers. She's served as the executive assistant to several dozen city council members. And aside from that, she puts an agenda together every 2 weeks. So she really is the backbone of our city organization. She is the matriarch of our city family. And we'll have plenty of times to recognize her in the next 2 months until she retires on December 15th. But Marilyn, for the past 30 years, you have contributed to making this community what it is today. This state of the city reflects your labor and your professionalism over those years. And I think you should be acknowledged by this community for doing that. So please stand, Marilyn. Mayor, do you want to come up and give the plaque to the supervisor? Council, we do have the plaque. Joe, we have the plaque. Oh, shit.
So at this time, we have a special presentation in case you weren't aware of it. Where'd you go?
Right here.
Come on up, Supervisor. So the City of Paris Service Award presented to Marion Ashley, Supervisor, 5th District, County of Riverside Board of Supervisors, in appreciation for over 16 years of dedication, commitment to the City of Paris, 2002 to 2018. Congratulations. Thank you. Take a photo with her. Come on back. There you go. Oh, we got to get one more with Richard in there. Okay. One more with Richard. One more. Okay, Snapchat. I don't know. Kids call it.
So I get the pleasure of this morning of closing out the program. And on behalf of the Mayor and City Council, first of all, I want to say thank you all for being here. It's been a great morning for us. We hope you really like the program, the video. We're very proud about everything we've been able to accomplish in the city in the last couple of years. We realize, though, we couldn't do it without great partnerships and relationships with other agencies and with other stakeholders. And many of you are here in the room, so we really want to thank you for being a part of that. We are at the center of it all. We're the center of, today we're literally in downtown Paris, which is in center of the I-215 corridor, in the center of Western Riverside County, and maybe not the center of the state, but this is definitely the center of future economic development activity. So we're excited about everything that's happened, but we're even more optimistic about the future moving forward. And we know it's going to take partnerships with all of you, and we'd like to thank you for those partnerships already and challenge you to keep those and grow those in the future. Thank you all for coming. It's been a pleasure. Enjoy the rest of the day.